anymore.
Please
Maybe
tell
you
me,
should
Korea.
introduce it.
I have the power.
He's getting way
I
too
have the
used to that. I
power.
just want to say that much.
Getting too much power.
That's the power.
Every time.
Yep.
Every time. It's, you know what it is? It's like the dad complex.
I think it's
like
just.
the I have to be in control.
It's that like if there was a remote control involved, I would want to hold it. That's for sure. But
The only person that can be in control is Jeff.
That's true. You bring up a very valid point. Also, amazing pun.
Thank you.
Internet high five, even though we're standing right next to each other.
Team
Well done.
Liquids.
I
turn
fucked
to
up again
ban.
with this. Bye bye.
What did
Yeah,
you do?
I forgot to press a button, and then it looks all
Oh,
weird. So let's go into the
man.
game. But look at Team Liquid, and this is what I wanted to show.
They're gaming.
They're gaming.
This is gaming.
They started very bad, actually.
Look at the two heroes that
10
NaVI gave
seconds
them.
remaining.
Yeah.
These are like their two favorite heroes recently.
With Elder Titan, but
Yeah, with
they
Elder
will not
Seconds
give them that.
remaining.
Koigva and the Venomancer. What
Yeah.
does Navi get instead? They get the
Reserve
Clockwork that worked pretty well for them last game, and they also get Life Stealer.
I still feel like this is a
Team
trade-off of
Liquid's
two heroes
turn
that I
to
would
ban.
never want to give Liquid. I think if I'm banning
NaVI's
against them,
turn
ET
to
is an
pick.
obvious choice, but Nature's Prophet too. I don't think taking out Visage is... I mean, it is worth it because Visage is a strong hero, but I feel like the Nature's Prophet gives so much more to your game plan
Yeah.
than what a Visage actually gives you, because Quakefa is an absolute
Team
monster
Liquid's
on that
turn
thing.
to
Yeah.
pick.
And when it gives you that much of a dimension in terms of what he offers your team, it's a lot to give away.
That has to be wrong.
What?
No, that has to be wrong. I had to check that.
Is that Liquid's win, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
that can't be a thing.
That's red as well.
That's maybe I have them flipped.
Yeah, that can't be right.
No, clearly I have something wrong.
Everything's red, Bruno. Help!
Here. Oh no, help!
What's happening?
Let's go to the generic.
Try it a third time. No.
All right.
I would like to ask one
Oh,
question.
I know what happens. I know what happens, and I'm being silly. It doesn't work because I probably forgot the
5
apostrophe in
seconds
Nature's
remaining.
Prophet. So let's show, let's say, Venomancer.
Venomancer doesn't have an apostrophe in it.
time.
Exactly.
That should work.
There you
Yeah,
go.
see?
Look at that.
That's Liquid with Venomancer.
Wow.
12 and 1. Damn,
Gosh.
I really needed to check
How
that
often
case.
do they get Venomancer and Prophet though?
A lot of times.
Combined
We can actually look.
That's why I said it, because
Why-
I
but
knew that
if
you
you
could
can't
show
bring
it.
up the profit win rate, then it's not going to work.
And this is what happens with them. It's like
Time spanned picked.
they picked it more often than they either let it go or ban it.
Yeah.
They probably only banned it a couple of times when they already had their supports,
Mm-hmm.
and it was ignored a few times, which probably was at the beginning when they were trying to get their tempo. Pretty sure that the same thing will happen with the Nature's Prophet, and they will say, but let's try anyways, because maybe I didn't overlook it there. Oh, that's not Nature's Prophet, silly. It's kind of hard to press buttons, you know.
It is hard to press
No,
buttons.
it actually works
There you
here
go.
because I was not silly. And it's pretty
Now
like a
these
very
turn
even
to
cake.
pick.
I would like to be the green guy there because
Yeah.
you get more cake.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly more.
But they do pick it a lot. And it seems to be working for them.
Mm.
We can't really know how much. But
I would love to know what. I mean, has Koikva lost when he's had Nature's Prophet in the Dream League so far?
Team Liquid's turn to
that's
ban.
what I was going to show you. And it said not available.
Right,
but
right.
no, he didn't.
Okay.
I will give you that spoiler alert.
Okay.
He is pretty much just an unbelievably good Nature's Prophet player.
Yeah. He's a
He is.
monster.
He's an unbelievably good player. I think he just,
10
after TI3,
seconds remaining.
he kind of exploded as a player, kind of like a same thing that Fada had.
5
Fada,
seconds
Fada. I don't
remaining.
know.
Well, I hope he didn't actually explode. That would be horrible.
Well,
Mm.
It'd be really hard to play.
unless
if you
you're Dr.
exploded.
Manhattan,
Yeah,
Reserve
okay, then you
time.
could manage.
then
to
you
get away
can
with
be
it.
back as a
But
blue
then,
guy with a
aren't you
big
kind of like omniscient?
intellect.
You're just like everything and everywhere at the same time. Isn't that like how he works?
No.
Kind
And
of?
therefore would
Turn
lose
to
interest in
ban.
Dota the same way
Yeah.
that Dr.
But
Manhattan lost
first, you will
interest
have
in
to win,
life. Yeah.
like
Similar.
TI.
What a
Because,
sad story.
yeah,
Lose
I really
TI,
like
then
that
you
guy.
turn into Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan.
Although I suppose things could be worse than that.
Could
10
they?
Like
seconds
turning into a
remaining.
being who has like supernatural ability.
5
Yeah,
seconds
that would kind of
remaining.
suck.
What world do you live in? Okay, let's talk about OD.
Reserve time.
Okay.
Because OD is a hero who actually isn't seen that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to bring him up for two reasons. One, he's a hero who is picked to win a lane, right? Like you go to the lane, you make the other guy dumb, you take his intellect away. You are an intellect hero, so that increases your base damage, and you dominate whatever hero you're against, unless it's like a Razor, or maybe a Lone Druid in some cases, if you're really good at Lone Druid. So you pick him to win your lane. He is likely going to be up against the Bat Rider, since the Elder Titan is already banned out. Obviously, Sam's not going to get his hands on that. But the other thing that's important to note, too, is that even though he can win his lane, a lot of the time he's not considered a super hard carry because you see a lot of BKBs on the other team. Well, guess what Liquid likely isn't going to be buying a lot of?
I see. Lincolns.
Well, that's true. I can't actually argue that. But they're not going to be buying a heck of a lot of BKBs. Likely the only heroes who will get it are going to be Batrider and whatever they decide to pick for the last one. I suppose Nature's Prophet can get it too, but it's not something that you see as like a first or second item ever. It's usually a third or fourth item, which means that for a longer stage in the game, the damage on the OD is going to be more relevant because Sanity's Eclipse and the Orb Effect are still going to be hitting really freaking hard. So I think it's a really solid draft from NaVI, although Liquid, again, they're getting their comfort zone heroes, and they already have a Batrider and a Vengeful Spirit to deal with the Clockwork or the Lifestealer. However they want to try to run that. You'll have Swap, you'll have Lasso. So I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
Me too.
Reserve time.
OD is like the signature hero of most UK Dota teams, by the way. They sort of a lot
Really?
of UK teams pick him. Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
They just really. I don't know why. If you play with the UK teams, like I play with a lot of UK players, and OD is like the go-to hero. I don't think for the teams like shout out to Reason Gaming and Infused, by the way. But basically, they might not necessarily pick OD, but he is very popular in the UK scene. I don't know why.
Well, he is a huge lane winner. And
Yeah.
the thing is, a lot of the time when we saw OD, he was put against heroes like Puck, because by putting an OD against a Puck, you're basically saying your mid game is going to be bad, more or less, no matter what. And Team Liquid, they last pick up a Razor, so that could be potentially what's going to be going mid against that OD, which is pretty much the only hero, I think, who can actually contest him in lane.
Yep, pretty much. Lone Druid as well, kind of works.
Kind of works.
TC's
Really,
Razor
it's
is
not
very
until
good.
level 5 where you say, okay, now the Lone Druid's starting
That's
to
why
be
I
a
said
little bit
kind
annoying.
of.
Okay. Jeez, Mr. Defensive.
Wow.
I was just
Sorry.
explaining why you said kind of. I wasn't being controversial about it.
When you explain things, to
5
me, it
seconds
really
remaining.
sounds like you're wrong. I'm going to enlighten you with the truth.
But I didn't say it that way.
Reserve
I
time.
don't know. It broke my heart anyway.
You know I would never do that to you, Bruno.
Oh.
Jesus. I like you too much for that. But I think what's likely going to happen is it's going to be...
An Enchantress? Is that what you were
Well-
going to say, Andy?
No, I was going to talk about the Razor because I think this is important to see who's actually going to play it. It could actually be either TC or Bulba, because I think that TC has played solo lanes before in the past, and maybe Bulba's sitting there going, man, I really don't want to play Razor, and he's not.
And, I mean,
Razor's boring.
Razor is... this was where I was heading. Razor is a really boring hero.
Not if
to
you
play.
get Refresher on him. Refresher Ags,
Then
is it?
that makes him a little bit more fun.
That turns him into like a mobile Rave, but it doesn't make him any more fun, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
Because you can't do 2 static links.
Yet again,
No,
he is one of
you
the
can-
heroes
that's
I've never
something
played,
that's
so
wrong. You should be able to do 2 static links.
That
Oh,
would
should
be
you really?
ridiculous.
Yeah, imagine
be
like being
ridiculous.
like...
Think of how much
sucking to
sucking would go on.
people's
Yeah.
He can hit
attack
for like
damage.
1,000.
Let's keep it PG-13
10 seconds
That's
remaining.
what...
for our sake.
What the...
You're the one who said sucking 2 people.
5 seconds.
You're the one who meant
Attack
that
damage.
meant something.
Yeah,
Sucking 2 people's attack damage.
but you didn't say that.
I did say that. You just talked over me.
Someone's just drawn a massive
So
knot
I
on the
didn't
map
hear it,
anyway,
which means
so-
that it doesn't count.
Look,
Well, no, but people understood that. Now you put myself in a very, very bad light, and people will think I'm a pervert or something like that.
her voice just drew a big penis on the map. So.
Anyway, we're going to hop into the game. Lots of sucking going on, apparently. Hopefully.
You suck.
Wow.
Can we just settle down,
You know what?
kids?
I might take
I will
James'
turn
spot
this
in
car
that
around.
Void versus Windrunner 1v1. I'll just say that much. The gauntlet's been thrown.
I will get my friend Andy then.
Jesus,
I
that's
think
not
he
fair.
knows a Windrunner a little bit.
That's not fair at all. I didn't sign up for this. All right,
Oh,
so
well.
I really want to know what NaVI are going to do with their lanes. They picked Enchantress, and they're running it defensively, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it's going to be OD mid.
A question for you. I don't like. You're not a huge fan of playing the jungle in general.
No, not really.
But if you go with the Chenner and Enchantress, do you also go for the Ring of Basilius first,
30 seconds
or
to
do
battle.
you like? What would you do in this situation where you just go into the jungle?
Well, I think when you pick up a Bassi, your main goal is to try to push the tower first.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Enchantress is that your creeps last for long enough that the regeneration from the Bassi should pretty much keep you sustainable in the jungle by itself. And if you're not anticipating any kind of aggressive laning coming out from Liquid, then you know you're going to be unobstructed anyway. But we can already see that Puppey has made a rotation. I don't think they wanted to contest the lane here. I think they actually wanted to dodge because they're going to spot Way2 with the ward and the river, and they know that it was potentially going to be an aggressive dual lane. So by avoiding it, this is why you buy the Bassi, is to make sure that you can go for some kind of an early push.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question about Koikva's starting items here?
You may.
Does he always get a hand of Midas on Nature's Prophet, or do you think that
Well,
he
all
waits and
prophets
sees?
get a hand of Midas.
Okay, so why doesn't he start with the glove?
Because starting with the glove
why do-
doesn't give you any lane presence, and it also means that you won't have any sort of regeneration really at all.
Okay.
And you still want some stats. Like getting even 2 branches doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it's still 38 health, extra base damage, and mana as well, right?
Which he
So-
needs, especially at these low levels. He can't really use 2 Nature's Calls without running out of mana. So the boss here, what did he skill first? He went for
Open wounds.
open ones.
Yeah.
Because he feels safe with the Crystal Maiden next to him, but if there comes a good gank, then he might be in trouble. And I'm kind of surprised that Liquid brings these 2 supports here, because they really don't like these defensive trilands at all. And I don't think...
Sam's gonna send you an angry message later.
Skype IM incoming.
Yeah, but I mean, they're clearly doing it for a reason, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start rotating, or maybe just make sure that the aggressive triland don't kill the Nature's Prophet that much.
Well, under normal circumstances, I would agree that going defensive is a little bit
Puppey?
weird, and Puppey really wants that courier, and he's not going to get it. Takes a ton of damage from the tower.
Wow, he could be in
He's
trouble.
just going to be walking right into Bulba, I guess. He's trying to run uphill. Bulba throwing out Sticky Napalm, pops Firefly. This is going to be first blood, probably. 1 hit, needs 1 more. Going for maybe the Tango. Oh man, does the Firefly really wear off before he gets to him? That would be really bad luck. He's going to need 2 auto attacks. Puppey might actually be able to get away
my
from
God.
this. He's continuing to chase, but Dendi is just like nowhere in
Bulba
sight.
has no mana.
Yeah, he stops.
Wow.
Wow.
Puppey must have either perfectly judged that.
Oh yeah, he perfectly judged taking like 9 tower shots.
Yep.
The interesting thing about it though is like, the courier is just sitting there, like it still really hasn't moved. It's chilling in the base, and they're just like, oh man, that was such good micro, man.
He's telling the tower, dude, this Enchantress was totally chasing me. There it goes.
Havos with the disjoint there and Magic Missile.
That's kind of weird, because normally you would expect him to tank there. What can you do? It's in tower, you have pretty much 1 creep that was dying. You could take the damage and just be okay with it.
You could. And I guess Way2 is just throwing him out. And that is actually like a gigantic waste of mana, although he does have A clarity, I suppose.
A clarity.
Yeah, A clarity, which won't bring him to full mana.
Nope. 10. Remember, there was... Sorry.
I'm thinking Havos is probably thinking, look, CM will hit level 3. I'll just have as much mana as I ever need anyway, so why not?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
that's a
mana
good-
trade
yeah.
in itself is actually more effective for the Lifestealer because it's 110 on Magic Missile versus the 75 of Rage. So yeah, it's not terrible.
But Havos, every time he hits something, he gets a little bit of mana back. And here comes a very annoying Mr. Tornado top.
Mr. Tornado.
Mr. Tornado, yeah, he's a man.
I'm really surprised that Liquid decided to move at all, actually. I think they were just really overly concerned about being against the boss. Speaking of, Gale's going to land along with the static link. Kuro's here. He's going to stop TC from following up with any damage. Magic Missile's going to land on Kuro. I don't know. Well, they might be able to get the kill.
Yeah, it's...
One more auto attack.
He doesn't have
Kuro,
poison sting.
he's so... He's actually fast
He's
enough to
level
get away.
1.
Yeah, no poison sting.
Yikes. Well, that's a lot of an investment for Liquid. They lost a lot of life and a lot of... started through a lot of spells as well.
You know, I do want to say one thing is that if TC actually had his boots there, they probably would have gotten the kill. And Havos bought boots before anything else, and that's why he was able to live.
Yeah.
Lucky Havos.
Oh, that link.
Oh, nice bait, I guess.
Sick bait, bro.
Sick bait. Denti getting some help from Puppey mid. He's going to be in this lane mid. I'm kind of surprised as well, because I was expecting Razor to go mid, but the Bat Rider there, the Bat Rider is not going to have fun time.
Tier 1, tower dive. Koikva actually gets the Sprout, and he cogs him out of it, but he cogs him in a direction that he's going to still be able to get him because he has a haste rune. Okay, well, I guess that's the thing. Now Funneck's going to be like, yeah, you can't really catch me. I'm a pots and pans robot. Maybe he wants to turn around. Maybe try to go for mid.
He's
because
level
he knows
6.
that.
Yeah, he is level 6. I just noticed that.
It's dangerous to dive this, though.
Oh, now he needs to run.
Then just bit... Fluff has no mana. Funny can go for this.
Wow, I'm really surprised that he walked away from the tower there. He has high-level battery assault, even positioned himself in the cogs to make sure that he gets
He will
it.
run away.
Oh, if he could get... Maybe he goes...
Koi
yeah, he
should
buys
get
all
it,
his
sure.
items. He goes straight for face boots. That's fine. He's going to die here, but
Okay.
he still gets 2 solo kills, so he's
That'll do,
almost level
big.
7.
That'll do.
Yeah, but that's also a lot of levels that he gives to Nature's Prophet because he's level 6. So something out of nothing pretty much from Liquid there. Puppy, however, he keeps getting his grips and he's going to push. Yeah, he's a little bit annoyed at the fact that he has no damage.
Yeah.
Razor's like really good against melee heroes in general, not just Life Stealer, but like any hero that has to get point blank to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, here comes Fanik again. Now he doesn't have that hook again, but he's so fast that Koikva can't really get close to that lane.
Poor guy.
And this is one of the scary things. When Clock doesn't seem like a big damage dealer, but when he gets to the level 6 and 7, pretty much...
Battery assault does like 1,000 damage.
Look at that. It does
Like, that's not
1,125 damage. 1,125 damage at max level. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah.
There is something else a little bit minor that we didn't really hit on, is the fact that at the beginning of the game, TC started top on Razor and Koikva started bottom, but the supports came first, which means that he was essentially sharing experience with 2 heroes, whereas Funnick was solo the whole time.
Yep.
So he actually came into this lane at a level deficit when he decided to rotate, and Liquid opt to go for a more defensive posture with their tri-lane. So he starts off at a disadvantage against Funnick, and that's not a good thing when you're against a Clockwork.
Nope. Because that's the only thing that Clockwork has, is when he gets that level 6, he becomes really scary. And the Nature's Prophet, when he gets level 6, he gets a nuke that's pretty to gank, but in a 1v1 situation, it will not help you that much. And you don't have much mana, so you maybe have enough mana for a Sprout. And if you get in cogs, you need a Sprout and a Nature's Call to get some treants to tank some of the battery assault damage for you. And you have to do that while taking battery assault damage, which is incredibly hard.
I reckon we could see a rotation here to kill Lifestealer, maybe.
It's really hard to kill him, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Level 1 Gale is not that great.
He has face boots.
He is only
Yeah.
level 5, though. He doesn't have Infest yet.
Well, he's going to have it.
He's got 7 wand charges, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, left squad is level. Ah,
That
nearly
catapult
clipped
ain't
it.
going nowhere.
Venom doesn't work on
Indeed it
catapults,
does.
silly.
Indeed it doesn't.
Well then.
Anyways.
Not really the most exciting game ever. I mean, last game was a lot more kills, a lot faster.
Yep.
But I think we're going to be seeing action during the mid game, and a lot of it, just because of the compositions that both teams have picked around. When you have Clockwork starting to get some levels, he's actually going to rotate bottom now to try to help out the Life Stealer. There's a ward that's going to spot him straight away, so they know this is coming. TC just going to casually walk to the tower, and this is one of the points in the game where you just ping and it becomes incredibly obvious that there's a lane ward.
Yep.
Because they just back straight away. If you lane gank like that and you know that your opponents like shouldn't see you at this stage because it's 8 minutes and rune wards typically go down, when you walk into the lane, it's like, okay, yeah, they know.
They do know, but you know what they know? They know that Koikva has his hand of Midas. And,
They don't know that though.
well, Liquid knows.
Well, yeah, of course they do.
Well, if Koikva told them, maybe he didn't tell them. It's like, oh guys, I'm doing terrible. He has a secret hand of Midas. Oh, the jump, oh, way too why you feed.
It's a very dead bench. Like,
So
ultra
easy.
dead.
As Clock, it's so easy to pick off those those under-leveled, low-level supports.
Low level.
That was a bit of a redundant statement.
Yeah.
Those under-leveled, low-level supports.
Well, you could be under-leveled at a higher level. I think something might have just happened in the Sweden game.
I think it was either a Sweden goal or a heart attack.
Somebody got really happy or dead.
He was like,
It was an attempt was saved, according to the commentary.
fair
Excellent.
That was a yelp.
Yelp. Yep, that's what it is.
Bottom lane, more damage being
damage, yep.
being sucked.
What do you think of these, of maxing Plasma Field in this situation instead of going for full max Static Link?
I'm just happy to see a Razor get Plasma Field because so many people now. Oh, fluff. Oh boy.
Just walked onto it. Unlucky.
You
with the
really
invis.
can't do anything about that. That's
Yeah.
the sad part. If you're a support, as soon as you get cogged, you're like, well, I'm just gonna die. And Bulba no longer has Firefly, so if they want to pursue this, they're gonna have to rely on Lasso and a lot of static link damage, which
Boink.
they will get. But
Oh,
Funnick,
no.
he gets flame broken out of his own cogs.
That
Ouch.
was nice.
That was unfortunate. As well. This is kind of these 50-50 chances of which side of the cogs are you gonna end up in.
Is it flame braked or flame broken?
Well,
I think
you've
flame
been
break.
flame
flame
I think
broken.
so.
No, I'm flame
Broken?
broken. Yeah, I'm flame broken.
It changes the
Because-
meaning too much to make it flame broken.
I don't think so,
I think it does.
because the flame still technically breaks out of the
I think
out of
the
the
problem
bottle.
is
Is a flame break even a thing?
No, I think that's
That's
it's
the
a
thing, like,
fire breaker, like in a forest,
yeah.
forest fire and stuff.
But that's,
I think you do
Yeah,
have
that's a fire
flame
break.
Yeah,
I guess.
I would have to look it up on the internet.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
Well, you know, like when there's a forest fire, you burn ahead of the fire just so
Right.
that the
So it stops
fire
spreading.
stops.
Or
there.
you'll sometimes see in a managed forest they'll literally fell trees as a flame break now and again.
So yeah, but I knew that as fire breaker, not flame break, but might be the same thing. It kind of makes sense.
Hmm.
So-
Although Batrider does shoot a big fiery Molotov cocktail at
Radiant's
people,
top
which
tower
is
is
kind of the
under
opposite
Funny,
of putting up a
looking,
fire.
what? Okay,
upward.
that was like. I don't know. Teleport's
Here
coming
comes
in though
the
from
Power
Liquid.
Rangers.
They want to defend this. Cog's coming out from Funnick. He's going to get Giled. Sprout to follow it up. Should be able to get this kill quite easily because he doesn't have Hook to actually make it to the high ground. Curl, he's going to throw out the Frostbite. Wait, he's going to be dropping though to the Impus auto attacks. Funnick eventually does go down. Lasso in the meantime onto Puppy. He's going to try to heal himself through the damage, but unfortunately not going to be enough, and he panic buys 2 dusts and a full wand and TP.
That's a nice trade, actually. I mean, they're killing Funny, which has been.
Kuro. He's going to get chased down. TC is way too fast, and that is a very sad Sam. He's going for the TP. I think he makes it here.
Wow,
Nicely
nice.
done.
I just want to point out about Quake's net worth. If we just look at, he started with items, stopped
Yes.
to buy boots, has Midas already, and 900 gold in the bank. The guy
Yeah.
just makes money like crazy.
Hola, hola.
You've never seen that Reddit picture where they have an interest profit and somebody on his team asks him what he's making and he just says money.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's just so good at farming. It's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and still has the wherewithal to TP to pretty much
Oh,
any
the
game.
jump. Oh, he gets
finds
jumped.
Quake, but there's a full creep
Flame
wave
break,
here.
flame break, flame break.
This is actually not ideal for Funnick. He's going to try to go for Quakefa anyway. Flame break breaks it. No, he might have just gotten Quakefa killed there. Funnick, he's going to throw out the flare. And Bulba, please. That flame break was like the worst possible thing that he could have done in that situation. Oh boy, Quakefa is probably bashing his keyboard right now.
Yeah. Nice going, Sam.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Anyways, Funny glyphs. Quake for dice. Doesn't lose much of his gold because that Midas also gives you 2 reliable gold.
Just casually being behind the enemy tier 1.
Radiant's
That's
top
what
Getting
Boss
tower
his
does.
is under
damage
attack.
drained, but he's making room, man. This is when you type hashtag space created and you get the tier 1 in the offlane.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Razor was not going to rotate there anyways.
Funnick, Cog,
Way too,
defensive.
everyone's bouncing. Now here comes the hasted Razor, and that might be something.
Oh, Zero not going to make it away this time, bud. Unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
You know who we haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of who just made a 4-staff?
Please tell me.
OD.
Yeah. Top
He also
of
went
the
hand of
last
Midas.
hits. Top of the
Yeah,
last
He did.
hits.
He went hand of Midas. And he even dropped his 4-staff to Wand right there. What a player.
What a player. Maximizing.
He has
the value.
43 denies as well.
Middle
That
tower.
always
Oh, yeah.
impresses me.
That's the one thing about OD that I think it was DreamHack Summer.
Mm-hmm.
There was a game where Funzy was playing OD
Yep.
against the Knicks mid.
Yep.
And at some point in the game, he had something like 50 and 30 CS, and the Knicks had 3 creep kills. It was Hani.
Yes.
It was Hani's Knicks. God,
This
I
is a
felt
dead- this
so
is a
bad.
That
dead
was
Razor.
really bad. Oh,
Shot misses.
Timing was not there.
that was close.
Fluff, he's going to get caught out, though. Wow, that was some hate.
Yep.
He gets Sanity's Eclipse, and then the infest damage from...
He'll
Wait,
be check-
actually, he didn't even get the kill. It was Puppy who got it.
Yeah, the impetus was flying. But yeah, have you ever seen that Puppy video when he's playing OV again in a pub?
Against the Night Stalker? Or was it a Juggernaut? I can't
Juggernaut,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, Juggernaut.
He was like trying
Radiant's
to
middle tower is under attack.
fake being Russian.
Yeah, and he just kept using Astral Imprisonment when he was going for
Yeah.
CS.
No, you get nothing.
He was like, no, no.
No, no, no.
Oh, Puppy. He's going to get static linked. No Lasso, though. Now Bulba, he's already used his blink. He's going to be stuck in a really bad position. Ends up dying. Lasso goes off, but it was only for about, I don't know, a quarter of a second, maybe. NaVI, they even pop a smoke on their retreat. Funnick, though, man-moding in the bottom lane. Quakefa, trying to teleport out. Going to get battery assaulted, though. There's no way he gets away from that.
Is under attack.
Things are going well for NaVI, I guess.
Yeah.
They really, really want to secure that ticket to DreamHack Winter.
It's really strange to see, like, Well, first off, that initiation from Bobo was really questionable.
Yeah.
Because you blink in, your puppy's in lasso range, pretty much. Maybe not actually with the new lasso. Maybe he had to be closer there. Maybe that's why he didn't just lasso puppy straight away. But then he was kind of just like caught there with his pants down. He had no blink. He had already used Firefly, and he didn't lasso anyone at all. And he doesn't have a force staff yet. So then he's like, well...
What do I do?
I fed.
Yep. So since I fed, I'm going to farm the neutrals a little bit more, because if I have more money, I will feed less.
That's true.
Yeah. And Razor goes with the bongos.
I'm a fan of this item. I approve.
Radiant's
So I
bottom
heard.
tower
I'm just looking at
is under
Funnick.
attack.
He's 6 and 3. Is it? Do you think the role of a clockwork to get maybe lots of kills, lots of initiation, but
Oh, absolutely.
die
Especially when you keep finding supports like this.
but to die too?
Oh, the
the
steal.
secured.
No,
That's
no.
all right. Ping him. Ping him right now, Funnick. I know you want to.
How rude.
Typical carry contribution.
Yep.
Dire's top
But
tower
I mean,
is under
just to
attack.
add, I know that's
Radiant's bottom
Clock's job,
tower
but
is
is
under
dying
attack.
as well part of the deal? Because I seem to
It
sort
can
of
be.
have games where I got lots of kills and assists, but I also die a lot.
Dire's top
You try not
tower
to.
has
Well, yeah,
fallen.
but you tend to be right in the thick of things, right?
Yep.
I mean,
It's kind of a. That's why you buy blade
Occupational
mail.
hazard?
Yeah, it is. It's an occupational hazard, and when you buy blade mail, it allows for that hazard to become less painful to deal with, because even though you die, there's a good chance that you're going to be dealing a bit of that damage back to your opponents. And since there's a lot of things like Poison Nova and Firefly that you can't actually stop,
Yeah.
the blade mail becomes a little bit better because you can just bathe in it and be like, oh yes, this hurts me, but it also hurts you.
I managed to kill a Tinker today when.
Oh, Fluff.
Fluff, not again.
Oh my
Not again, way too. He's gonna eat the blade mail with his magic missile, dies pretty much straight away. Koigfa, throwing out the Nature's Wrath.
I mean, you were talking about the Poison Nova, but does it really matter when actually... I saw a flash.
Yeah, the light just died in the studio.
Huh.
Or
Yep.
one of.
We've lost a light here.
We've lost
Yeah.
a light, yes.
Yeah, it
R.I.P.
looks-
light. I think it's this light here.
Yep,
Yeah,
it is that
really,
one.
the one that's not on. I think that's the one that actually broke.
Well, there's an...
It looks in big trouble, actually. It looks like it's imploded.
Yeah, the bulb burned out.
Yeah, it's like melted. Don't know if Milton can hear us.
Oh, I'm sure they can.
Oh my goodness, there is
We've
a goal
given them
in the
many
Sweden
hints to maybe they should try to put a new one in before the game ends.
game. You know why that bulb went out?
What?
Because Portugal scored.
Oh,
That was the light going out in Sweden.
pretty much, I guess.
Pretty
But
much.
anyways.
Roshan attempt coming out from NaVI.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Roshan with an Enchantress is that Untouchable works against Roshan, which I think is a bit ridiculous, actually.
Oh, it's nice. It makes...
Like, he only has 2 points, and it's 60% attack speed slow.
Yeah.
When you max it out, Roshan just goes, like, slow
I
motion.
can't... It goes actually to minimum most of it.
Yeah.
Literally, you can't attack any slower than what he does.
Oh,
But Boba
lasso.
gets a pick off.
And top lane.
Dandy,
yeah.
but Dandy, is he going to be okay?
Well, I don't think he's going to be okay.
He's going to be okay.
I mean, he'll probably be
50
okay
seconds.
with the situation, but he's not okay because he's dead.
Is that another space created moment?
Oh, yeah, that's like 100% space created. Your team gets Roshan, and they give the Aegis to Havos, so worth it. Although, truthfully, Havos doesn't really have that much. It's 18 minutes in and all he has is Armlet Phase. I think he just made another item. It's on the courier. Yeah, it's drums. Sorry.
Bongos.
More bongos.
Yep.
You can never have enough in one game, in my opinion.
No. I mean, how quick do you run out of charges when you're playing?
Oh, I run out of charges within like the first 2 minutes of buying them.
Do you
Because-
ever rebuy the recipe to get more charges?
No.
Yeah.
Not
I
worth
never
it.
do that.
Not a
Not
thing.
worth it. What if
It-
you're so flush that it's...
The whole purpose of buying drums is the fact that it's a stat-efficient item for its slot, and that
Right.
it gives you a lot for one inventory spot that doesn't cost much, right? So when you talk about saying, okay, well, hold on.
Is it a better
Top
back
lane,
end?
Way too.
Oh, that's a dead weight too.
Boop. Rip.
Wow, the supports have died a combined total of 9 times.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you play against these types of heroes, is that supports just get eaten alive. And I think that's why NaVI are so comfortable giving away the Venomancer and the Vengeful Spirit, because they know that eventually those heroes don't serve any purpose in a team fight other than trying to save the team, or in Venomancer's case, dying isn't as big of a deal because he can just go in and pop poison over
Right.
and then his damage is dealt. But when Fluff keeps getting isolated, he never gets to that point where he hits a few people with his ulti, he just dies beforehand. So they're not able to get the full extent of what maybe they could have against a different type of a draft with their supports.
And of course, all those deaths are feeding people like Funnick, who's got 6 kills now. Puppy has 4.
Yeah. He's been getting a few.
Yeah.
And it was all those rotation stuff that make it happen. But the thing is, right now, this is a moment where Koikva completely disappears from the game and just says, I'm gonna farm. Try to survive. Do the best you can. I will get some money. And then we can fight. But at the same time,
hook in on the way to pops the blade mail straight away, even force-staffs himself out, and then realizes, oh wait, my team's actually not here. I guess some space was created. Havos is going to go in, swap on the Bulba, and he doesn't even get the lasso off. He just panics, and the Sanity's Eclipse kills 2. Dendi, he picks up the double. He's
you know,
looking for TC,
that was like way too so Volva, and he thought, I can swap you so you can lasso and I can run away.
And then Sam was like,
I blinked you. I don't know what's happening.
Tower is under attack.
poor Sam.
He's trying, but this is not his game.
This is
Definitely
not. This is not the Liquid that we've seen in the last few games in this
Radiant's
tournament
middle
when they've
tower is
executed
under
so
attack.
well. They just they seem to have been rocked by NaVI early, and they don't seem to have had a chance to get into their stride in the game. They just seem to have been knocked for 6 the whole time. Look how much they've died. They're way behind on levels. They've got to rely on Koikva.
To be fair, NaVI is NaVI.
You know what?
True, but they did lose some games in the tournament.
You know what I just thought of? Is that if and when Sam messages Bruno, you know what he's going to say? He's going to say, we defensively tri-lane, so we lost. And Havos, he's going to get his Aegis popped here, potentially. Puppy's in the back, though, doing some really good damage to Koikwa. 4 stats, takes a ton from the next impetus. Doesn't actually drop, though. Fluff going to be the first one to go down. Lasso on Havos. I think they get him twice here. TC being chunked down by those impetus auto attacks. He's going to run into Puppy. He's just sacrificing himself for the greater good. They need to be able to clean this up. At the very least, try to get Kuro, but here comes Funnick on the way to. I don't even know if they're going to get the kill on the support, and now Boba realizes, I have overstayed my welcome. He ends up going down as well. And the GG just called at 21 minutes in.
I'm not sure this was the time for the GG. I mean, yes, NaVI was in advantage, but it feels a little bit premature to me.
I don't know. If you look at it this way, there was no real BKB coming out anytime soon. Dendi hadn't really been that active in the game up until we saw him get the double with the Sanity's Eclipse. And then you're like, okay, well, Dendi was going to have a Hex pretty darn soon during that game. And then really, what do you do? Like, TC didn't even have his Ogre Club for the BKB.
Yeah, but look at the, look at the GPM, right? TC, 415, pretty good. Koikva, 442, not perfect, but pretty good. The rest wasn't getting much, but Bad Rider had his Blink Dagger, and he was getting that 4-staff sooner or later.
Yeah.
Even if the rest of the team was...
Look at the supports, man.
Yeah, Venge and Veno. 7 deaths for Veno, 6 deaths for Venge. They're so far behind.
Hey. Milk Award. Your support can feed.
But there can't be a Milk Award for Fluff because he had a kill.
Well, but maybe for way too.
Yeah, maybe for way too. I just think that when you have that kind of a deficit against those types of heroes, it's ridiculously hard to come back. And Funnick was playing great, and he was managing to catch Koikva out over and over again when he starts split pushing. I feel as though moving the heroes in the beginning of the game for Liquid was definitely a mistake, because you can just crush a lane really hard and then move your supports after the lane has already been won, as opposed to moving them like reactionary and trying to say, okay, well, we just wanted to have our heroes against yours. Because then what ends up happening is everyone's under-leveled. You put your off-laner against another off-laner who has an experience advantage. That lane then loses. The OD wins mid no matter what because he's against the Bat Rider. And then you don't really have any mid-game.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate, but fortunately, we do have James next to us.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree with Andy with the GG.
Yeah.
You know, the earlier point, that's all on you, but it's like, what can you do? Like, the Nature Prophet isn't going to carry that game. I believe
Also,
they didn't even have
against NaVI, and I think from that kind of position, it would be pretty remarkable.
Especially with all the mid-game items they went for. Double drums on the team, I believe. They had 4 staffs as well, which are fantastic. And just, you know, because mid-game, it's like all your abilities are somewhat more important, like a stun, a magic missile, but 1 4-staff takes it away. Even Puppy, when he was getting chased from the Dire jungle up towards mid-tier 1, Radiant side, sorry, Radiant jungle to mid-tier 1 Radiant, it's like, they were like, yeah, we can just auto-attack you down, don't need to use lasso, and then all of a sudden 4-staff comes in, and Bulba's like, oh, whoops. Yeah, you know, all these mid-game items. So NaVI played it fantastically, and they've been really on point today. So they'll win both their games, first up against Evil Geniuses and then versus Team Liquid, which means...
they're going to DreamHack Winter.
They're off to DreamHack Winter.
Is that 3 teams now confirmed?
3 teams confirmed.
Yep. The last one is potentially Alliance, I
Which
believe.
they have to win 1 game.
Yeah, and they're playing next.
And they're playing next.
If they lose versus Fnatic and they lose
Versus
all...
NaVI, and then they lose versus...
They've got 3 games tomorrow. I think it's like an EG game and maybe a Team Liquid game.
No, they had 3 games tomorrow, but one...
No, they have 3 games tomorrow.
Liquid,
so-
NaVI, EG.
That's what I said.
And today they're playing who? Fnatic.
Yes.
Yeah, they have to lose all 4.
Yeah.
I can't see that. I can't see that.
All my rares and them losing all the games.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Going
collect
for it.
rares.
Wow.
I only have 1 rare.
Oh, well, then the hell with you.
But now, it's the race for who gets number 1. Because it's
Yes.
important to get the number 1 or number 2 position. Both are good. If you get 3 or 4, it's pretty much the same.
You guys, right? Okay, you keep doing all the hosty bits. Okay, right? Perion's been throwing
I
the
didn't
stuff.
do any of it.
You just took that as well. Okay. If you
Well,
want,
I was gonna say
we're
about that.
quadcasting the next game, and I'm gonna.
Do you want to do play-by-play? I'll go sit back there and take a nap.
No, you're not taking a nap, Andy.
Wow. Why would you?
Not
Like-
taking a nap.
Why can't I sleep?
I'm awful at play-by-play,
It doesn't. I don't really do much play-by-play anyway. I
but
just-
you know what's happening. That's a big advantage.
Okay. You
I could just sit
sweet-talked me
next to
into it.
Period, and we can just stir up shit.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'll join you.
Go for the QC.
That way, I get in on your job as well
But
as
I
you
didn't
getting in
do
on mine.
anything to spite you.
Hey, no,
Why are you directing this at me? What
because
have I
you're
done?
currently talking. May that be a lesson.
You can learn to
Whatever.
just...
Fine.
Yep.
Yeah, either way. Go on, Bruno. What are we doing now?
Well, I guess since that game was over, we're going to a short break, and then we will do the full analysis where we bring the replays and we bring all the cool stuff that we normally show. James will have his theory. Andy will prove him wrong. Priam will say something that's NaVI, and I will just be here believing that I'm
Looking
better
like
than anyone
Warlock.
else. See you in a bit.
Perfect summary.
Dickheads.
What's up guys, I'm AP and I think that the Rise series of mechanical keyboards is perfect for gaming Dota 2. With 5 macro keys and 3 thumbstick keys, I have a lot more options in my reach to take care of Dota 2's peripheral actions. And if that's not enough, I can bind secondary functions to each key thanks to Easy Shift. This, the high quality Cherry MX key switches and the comfortable wrist rest make the Rise series my choice for gaming Dota 2.